In your 20s, being broke is almost a rite of passage. You eat ramen, you split a sketchy apartment with 3 roommates, and you drive a car held together by duct tape. It is normal, but then something dangerous happens. You get a job, you get a raise, you start making real money. And instead of getting rich, you just get premium broke. You trade the ramen for $20 salads and the old Honda for a leased BMW. You are making triple what you used to, but your bank account is exactly the same. Zero. Let me show you what this looks like. Picture a split screen. On the left, a 22-year-old burning a $1 bill. On the right, a 32-year-old burning a $100 bill. Same behavior, totally different consequences. Now meet Peter Pan Paul. Paul is 32. He is at a rooftop bar holding an $18 cocktail like it is water. The music is loud. The view is great. Everyone looks like they are doing well. Paul taps his card. Declined. He laughs and says, "Transferring funds." And right there on his phone, he moves money from his emergency fund to his checking account. To pay for drinks, freeze that frame, because this is the whole problem. Paul thinks he is living the good life. But Paul is one missed paycheck away from moving back into his childhood bedroom. That is the high-income poor phenomenon. People who look successful, sound successful, make good money, and still have no financial foundation. And the reason is not that they are stupid. It is that they are fighting a psychological enemy most people never name. Parkinson's law. Your spending expands until it matches your income. So no matter how much you make, you feel broke because you built a life that costs exactly your paycheck. And the takeaway for this entire video is simple. If you make more money than you did 10 years ago but still have the same amount of savings, you are not living life. You are digging a grave, not a dramatic grave, a financial one, where your future options go to die. Now let's talk about why your 30s are mathematically different from your 20s, and why the habits that were cute before become catastrophic now. In your 20s, you have time, but no money. You are building skills, learning the workplace, trying careers, making mistakes. Your savings rate might be low because your income is low. That is not always a character flaw. It is just the season you are in. But in your 30s, the script flips. Now you should have more money, but you are running out of time. Not running out like you are old, running out like this. Compounding has a clock, and the earlier dollars are the most powerful dollars you will ever earn. This is the decade of danger. The wealth cliff. Because every dollar you waste in your 30s has a compounding penalty. Here is the painful math. Just an example. If you are 30 and you blow $1 today, you are not just losing $1. If that dollar could have been invested and compounded over decades, you might be destroying $10 to $15 of future wealth, depending on returns and timeline. So when someone spends $50,000 at age 30 on a car upgrade, or a wedding they cannot really afford, they think they are spending $50,000, but what they are actually doing is setting fire to something closer to $500,000 of future net worth. And before you get defensive, this is not about never enjoying life. This is about understanding what decade you are in and what the math is doing behind the scenes. Your 20s are survival mode. Your 30s are accumulation mode. If you stay in survival mode behavior, but with adult money, you do not get adult wealth, you get adult bills, and this is where people fall off the cliff, because they keep the same treat-yourself habits. But the numbers are bigger now, so now we get into the how lifestyle creep sneaks in, how social pressure drains you, and how to stop buying toys when you need tools. First, the upgrade trap, lifestyle creep. The thought is simple. I work hard, I deserve nice things. And look, you do deserve a good life. The question is, do you deserve it now, at the cost of your future? Here is how lifestyle creep works in real life. You get a $10,000 raise, and within 30 days you commit to $10,000 of new recurring bills, a better apartment, a nicer neighborhood, a gym membership you do not use, a new car payment, a few subscriptions, more delivery, more convenient spending, and suddenly the raise disappears. You did not get a raise. Your landlord and your car dealer got a raise. The most important concept in personal finance is what I call your gap, the difference between what you earn and what you spend. Your wealth is built in the gap, so if your income goes up but your gap stays the same, your lifestyle upgraded but your future did not. Quick reality check. If you lost your job tomorrow, How long could you survive without changing your lifestyle? If the answer is 2 weeks, then the lifestyle is not a lifestyle. It is a trap, and this is Parkinson's law in action. Your expenses expand to fill the container. Imagine a goldfish in a bowl. You buy a bigger bowl, the fish immediately grows, and there is still no extra water. More income, same savings. So what do you do instead? You decide in advance where your raise goes, before your lifestyle grabs it. You can do it 100 different ways, but the principle is the same. Pay your future self first. When the raise hits, you automatically route part of it to savings and investing, and you only let yourself feel the rest in your checking account, because a raise is not a license to spend. A raise is an opportunity to increase the gap. Now the second wealth killer in your 30s, the social signaling tax. This one is brutal because it does not even feel like spending. It feels like being a good friend, being supportive, being part of the group. Bachelor parties, destination weddings, trendy brunches, concert weekends. The we should do this more often dinners that somehow cost $180. In your 30s, the social pressure to spend adult money is massive, and the scary part, it is not just one event, it becomes a calendar, and if you do not have boundaries, your savings becomes the thing you transfer funds from. Every time life gets social. Here is a realistic scenario. Your friend is getting married. Again, third wedding. They want a destination trip to Cabo. Flights, hotel, events. It is going to be $2,500 all in. If you have to put any of that on a credit card, you cannot afford to go, not because you are a bad friend, but because you are not a rich friend. And this is where adults separate themselves, by learning the power of no. No is not a rejection. It is a budget boundary, and the truth is, most people respect it more than you think. The ones who do not are expensive to keep. If you need a script, use this. I cannot make that trip work financially right now, but I would love to celebrate with you locally. You do not need to explain your entire life. You just need to be clear, because spending to impress people you do not even like is the most humiliating way to go broke. It is a tax you pay for other people's opinions. Drop that weight and watch how much money suddenly stays in your account. Now the third point, and this is the grow-up moment. Forever toddler assets, toys versus tools. In your 20s, it is normal to spend on experiences and consumables. You are exploring. You are building a personality. You are figuring out what you like. But in your 30s, if you want actual wealth, you need to buy assets, not because you cannot enjoy life, but because assets buy freedom later. Here is the comparison: toddler spending, electronics that are outdated in 18 months, fashion that lives in a closet, depreciating cars, upgrades that feel good for 2 weeks. Adult spending, a diversified investment portfolio, skills that raise your earning power, a side business. Real estate if it fits your situation. Anything that either appreciates, produces income, or increases your future cash flow. So here is a rule that keeps you sane without making you miserable. For every $1 you spend on a toy, something that loses value, match it with $1 into a tool. Something that gains value or improves your future. You want the new phone? Fine, match it with an investment contribution. You want the nicer car? Fine, match it with a bigger automatic transfer into savings. This prevents the common trap, where your entire financial life becomes consumption, because consumption is fun, but it does not compound. And yes, you can do both, but you need a system, not vibes. Now here is the wake-up call that people miss. The problem is not that you buy nice things. The problem is that you finance a nice life with future use money. When you spend like you are 20, but you are 32, you are not being carefree. You are borrowing from a version of you who is going to be tired. Now let's prove how fast this adds up with a simple simulation. The tale of two raises, two friends, Mike and Mark, both are 30. Both just got bumped from $60K to $90K a year. That is a big jump. And for simplicity, let's call it an extra $2,500 a month in take-home pay. Exact numbers vary by taxes and benefits, but this is a clean example. First, lifestyle Mike, the 20-year-old mindset in a 30-year-old body. Mike moves to a luxury downtown loft, plus $1,000 a month in rent. He leases a Tesla Model 3 plus $600 a month. He starts eating out every lunch, plus $400 a month, right there. That is $2,000 of the $2,500 raise, gone. Then add the little stuff. Nicer gym, more subscriptions, more ride shares, more we should go out nights, and Mike spends the entire raise. So what happened? Mike looks cool in his 30s, but he is building nothing. He has a higher burn rate and the same gap. If Mike does this for 10 years, his net worth at 40 can easily be near zero, even with a good salary, because every dollar got converted into lifestyle. Now millionaire Mark, the adult mindset. Mark stays in his old apartment. Mark keeps driving his paid-off Honda. Mark takes that entire 2,500 raise, and he auto-invests it every month into a diversified portfolio, for example, a low-cost index fund approach, depending on risk tolerance and time horizon. No hype, no day trading, just consistent investing. What happens if Mark invests $2,500 a month for 10 years at an average 8% return? Again, just an example, markets are not guaranteed. He ends up around $450,000 by age 40. Same raise, two totally different lives. Mike bought a decade of looking successful. Mark bought options, freedom, negotiating power, the ability to say no to a bad boss, the ability to survive a layoff, the ability to take a year off, the ability to actually breathe. And here is the part you need to understand. Mark did not need a genius business idea. Mark just did not give his raise away. So if you are thinking, okay, but am I supposed to never upgrade anything? No, you just stop upgrading everything at once. You upgrade intentionally, and you upgrade after you pay your future self first, because your 30s are for building, not just consuming. If you keep giving your raises to corporations, lifestyle creep wins, and you stay broke on a higher salary. And if you do not grow up financially now, you will be a child forever, not emotionally, financially. A 45-year-old with no savings is not young at heart. It is panic with better lighting. So let's land this with a simple practical reset. Starting today, calculate your burn rate, what it costs to be you for 1 month, rent or mortgage, car payment, insurance, groceries, eating out, subscriptions, debt payments, everything. Then compare it to your take-home pay. If your monthly spending is more than 70% of your take-home pay, you are playing on hard mode. One surprise bill and you are back to transferring funds from money that was supposed to protect you. Then do one more thing. Pick one lever, not 10. Maybe it is downgrading the car plan at your next renewal. Maybe it is cooking at home 3 nights a week. Maybe it is canceling subscriptions you forgot you had. Maybe it is setting a cap on social spending. Maybe it is automating a transfer the day after payday. So your gap grows whether you feel motivated or not, because the goal is not perfection. The goal is momentum. Final thought. It is time to stop trying to look rich and start actually becoming rich. The party is over. The building phase begins now. If this hit a nerve, good, that means it matters. Do this for me right now. In the comments, type 2 numbers. Number 1, your burn rate, what it costs to be you for 1 month. Number 2, the one expense you are cutting or freezing for the next 30 days. And if you want more videos like this, hit like and subscribe. Because the difference between premium broke and wealthy is not a secret. It is a set of decisions you repeat.